This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org here in Manchester, New Hampshire, and I'm here with Carlos Morales, who is a former employee of the CPS, Child Protective Services. Now, Carlos, from your experiences working there, what do you think that American people should know about CPS?
Well, first and foremost, Child Protective Services does not help children, it hurts them. Based primarily on their actual incentive structure. You see, Child Protective Services gains more money for every single child they take away, as well as foster homes do. You see, because the only way that CPS gets money essentially is they prove allegations are true. So they prove that allegations are true in regards to, say, maybe a parent who smoked marijuana at one point. You can actually kidnap a child based on that.
Wow.
Correct? So, and in family court, the judges are paid for by the same people that are paying Child Protective Services. So they, again, are also paid for by in the same case. Child Protective Services does not gain money by actually helping children or preventing child abuse whatsoever.
Working at the CPS, what are some of the most egregious cases that you came upon or heard of that happened?
Well, you know, we removed children because a parent was allowing their child to be outside for too long of time. We removed a child because a parent was smoking marijuana outside their home when they weren't even with their own kid at the particular time. And of course, when you talk about activists who are getting in trouble regarding Child Protective Services, there's actually a particular case in Austin where someone who admitted to being for the legalization of cannabis, well, his home was basically broken into by Child Protective Services and police investigators. They managed to find one joint. They took his child outside of the home, and that kid died in foster care within 7 days.
Wow, that's just horrendous, horrible stories. You've been there. How long have you been working at the CPS?
Well, I quit after working there for 1 year and 1 month after a particularly terrible case in which a mother was actually shot in front of her children. I will not talk about the particular name of the case just because I did not want to, you know, that kind of go back on the family.
You don't want to reveal the information of the family that are being affected. But CPS, I mean, obviously you're working there. It's a very serious organization. From where it's heading and where it's going, do you see a lot of political repercussions based on people who speak up against political issues? Do you see CPS being used against people like that?
Absolutely. Again, as the activists have already mentioned, a number of people who have also been for things like homeschooling and unschooling and maybe not for the Western style of medicine have been attacked. And there's been false allegations made in regards to those people being essentially terrible parents, even though they're not, and having their children removed. I mean, it's case after case after case. I mean, I've basically put my phone number out there, and I get about 20 phone calls a day just from people who are being assaulted by these individuals, which is why it's really important for people in the liberty movement or just political movement in general to understand what to do if Child Protective Services comes after them.
Now, I know you made this your cause from your personal experiences and the horrible things that happened and occurred when you were working for CPS, but what should people know out there if they get a contact? What should people know specifically with dealing with the CPS? Do you have any quick tips and pointers and advice for them out there?
Absolutely. First and foremost, recognize the fact that Child Protective Services does not help children. It is a domestic terror cell within the United States. Secondly, let every single other person you know that fact, including your kids. So if investigators ever go up to your kids to start talking to them, they're legally allowed to do so, but the kids do not have to say anything back to them. Third, if they show up to your house, do not allow them into your home because a few dirty pants can be considered unlivable conditions for a child. Fourth, sign absolutely no paperwork whatsoever. Fifth, admit to no prior drug use, admit to no prior domestic violence, admit to basically nothing that could ever endanger the lives of your child because they will use any single thing against you. They will manipulate the words that you're using because they do it time and time and time again.
Now, I know of two particular families that were active in the political scene, and because of their particular viewpoints and arguments and beefs that they had with other people, people just decided to call CPS on them, and situations got very ugly. So I'm very thankful for people like you who were on the inside, who are willing to speak out to tell us about what's really happening with CPS. Just the fact alone that they're getting paid to gather up more children is just astonishing and seems very backwards. But do you have a website or a podcast that people could find out more about you? I know you've made this your cause. Where can people find out more about what you're doing?
You can find every single thing I produce at truthovercomfort.net. It's a podcast and YouTube show. It also has a community for people who are having issues with Child Protective Services.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there who are listening right now?
Absolutely. Stay strong in your struggle against Child Protective Services, and I will fight these bastards tooth and nail.
Wow. Carlos, thank you so much for your work and actions. Really appreciate it.